日本語一の皆さん、こんばんは。キチン先生です。今日はですね、と思います。いいですね。じゃあ、始めましょう。気をつけ。ね。お願いします。So, today we're going to be looking at this と思います saying what you think. All right. And so, what does it mean? So let's just start out. We're getting a new verb today. It is omoimasu, which means to think. And so it's an u verb. And so if we know that it's an u verb, what is our plain form or short form of the verb going to be? Omoimasu becomes omo. Okay, and so that's our plain form. So with that, what would the nai form be? We know that it's an u verb, so we need to change it into the a column. But it's kind of goofy, so we got to make that wa, so it becomes omoanai. So hopefully you got that. So that's the verb that we're going to be using today. So how do we use it? It's pretty straightforward. For now, we're going to put it at the end of the sentence, and we're going to put it after the particle to. Okay. We've used to in other contexts up to now, meaning and, but this is a different usage. Okay. So it'll look something like this: blank to omoimasu. Right. And so just remember, most of the time in English, we'll put the I think at the beginning of the sentence, but in Japanese, it's going to come at the end. All right. And so before that, in the blank, we can put things like a verb phrase. We can put an adjective. We can put a noun. Okay. And all of those can be worked into phrases, but that's just sort of the basics. And so we're going to go through each one of those today. And so you can see how to use each one of those. Okay. So first, let's talk about verbs. All right. We are going to use the short forms of verbs for to omoimasu. And so when I say short form, I'm referring both to the plain form and also to the nai form. Okay. And so we're just going to take a basic sentence like this. Tomodachi wa gakkou ni ikimasu. Okay. My friend will go to school. Tomodachi wa gakkou ni ikimasu. Now, I'm not my friend, so I'm not 100% sure. Like, he's flaky. He might not come to school. And so we're going to put like a little bit of saying, I think he's going to go to school. And so what we need to do is first, what's the verb in this? Tomodachi wa gakkou ni ikimasu. And so you can see that the verb, right, is ikimasu. So that part's going to have to change into the plain form. And then we're going to add to omoimasu at the end. And so we're going to end up with something like this. Tomodachi wa gakkou ni iku to omoimasu. So you can see how we took ikimasu and changed it to iku, and then just added to omoimasu on the end. All right, pretty straightforward. So let's look at one more. Okay. Bobu wa eiga o mimasen. Bob, for whatever reason, is not going to watch the movie. All right. So we're not Bob, so we're not sure. He may come through. He may have a change of spirit. So we need to change this into its short form and add to omoimasu. And so it's going to look something like this. Bobu wa eiga o minai to omoimasu. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. So we get the nai form here. We get the short form, the plain form right there. Okay. All right. Well, let's look at adjectives. Okay. As you remember, there's two different types of adjectives. We have e-adjectives and we have non-adjectives. And so we're going to first look at affirmative adjectives. And so I chose oishii desu because delicious things are wonderful. So for this, it's pretty straightforward. We're just going to get rid of the desu and just add to omoimasu. So we would just say oishii to omoimasu. Not a problem. You take the e adjective and you just add to omoimasu. I think it's delicious. You don't have to think it's delicious, but I think it is. Okay. Then a non-adjective. There's a bunch out there, but I chose hen desu. Probably because that best represents our class, right? So hen desu. Now with this, and this is an important thing to note, we're going to have to do the shortened version of desu before we have と思います. So it's going to be 変だと思います. Okay. So I would note if you're writing stuff down, which I encourage you to do, with na adjectives before と思います, we need to have a da here. Okay, and that's your first major note of the night. I would go back and jot the other things down as well, but this is an important point. Okay. 変だと思います. 美味しいと思います. Now let's look at the negatives. We didn't do a ton of super formal adjectives. 美味しくありません. A lot of times we just said 美味しくないです. And so it's just going to be 美味しくないと思います. So as long as you remember this portion of it, 美味しくないと思います, you're in good shape. Similarly, the way that we didn't say 変ではありません. We said 変じゃないです. So it's just going to be 変じゃないと思います. Okay. So you'll note in this negative part, it's become into a nai form, so it doesn't need the da here. Okay. All right. Let's move our last ones right here, nouns. Nouns are pretty straightforward. 学生です. What is a 学生? You are all 学生. That means students. So 学生です. We're going to do the same thing that we did with the non-adjectives. We're going to say 学生だと思います. I think they're students. I'm not really sure. I don't know when the context you'd use this, but there you have it. Next, we have 日本人です. What is 日本人? Japanese person, right? I think they're Japanese people. Also, probably should not be making too many guesses or assumptions on this, but here you go. 日本人だと思います. So if we were to turn these into negatives and we wanted to say they're not students or I don't think they're students, we'd say 学生じゃないと思います or 日本人じゃないと思います. Okay. Last, I just want to give us a little bit of practice here. So our first sentence, I think my friend doesn't speak Japanese. So here we go. I think my friend doesn't speak Japanese. So remember what I said. The I think portion is going to go on the end. So let's forget about it and say my friend doesn't speak Japanese. So we could say watashi no, or you just say tomodachi wa nihongo o. This is hanashimasu, but I got to put it in the nai form. Hanasu, hanasanai. So we're going to end up with tomodachi wa nihongo o hanasanai to omoimasu. Okay. Right? Again, the to omoimasu comes at the end. So we put this thing in here. Make sure that we take speak and put it into the nai form for that. Okay, let's take another one. I think that my literature teacher is scary. Shout out to literature teachers. They're not that scary. But here we go. So again, I think goes at the end. So my literature teacher is scary. Literature, do you remember? Starts with bun, ends with gaku. You got it. All right. Bungaku no sensei wa scary. Kowai. Okay. So bungaku no sensei wa kowai to omoimasu. If you wanted to put watashi no bungaku no sensei, that's totally acceptable. More specific, that's good. One last example before we finish up here. I think the quiz will be easy. All right. So again, I think we'll go at the end. Quiz, easy. We don't really have a future tense. We just use what we've been doing with the present tense. And so we'll say quiz wa, easy. You could say yasashi. I chose kantan. But since it's kantan, we need to include a da. So quiz wa kantan da to omoimasu. So hopefully this information is kantan for you guys, but just wanted to give you this idea of to omoimasu and how to kind of just say, I think this. So we'll be doing a little bit of practice with that in addition to the plain form and the nai form when we meet up for class on Tuesday. So I'll see you then. じゃあ終わりましょう。気をつけ。ね。ありがとうございました。 では、さようなら。